So MongoDB is effectively, it's an open source database that stores its data in JSON-like format. So it's a format which really, or which very much resembles to JSON, but it's not JSON. Technically, it's stored as BSON, right? So we'll see that what is this BSON binary, where this binary has come from. So MongoDB stores data in BSON format. This is something other than JSON format. Now, a question to, again, to those who should be a bit new to this concept again. So Alex, likes of you who has already done things like that, how do you recognize some data as the JSON data? How do you see that, or how do you say that this data is the JSON data? Is there any recognition of it, that how do we recognize the data as JSON data? Anyone from you three, or maybe specifically two? Yeah, how do, or what is that? Is a specific format? Yes, exactly, specific format, right? You're right, Alex. What is that specific format that JSON data has? Yeah, yes, you are right, this is a specific format. It's very true. But what is that format? Like, again, how do you recognize that some data is in JSON format and some data is in JavaScript object literal, JavaScript object literal notation? So this JSON stands for JavaScript object notation, right? It's a specific that text format, format. But then there is an object literal notation that we have in JavaScript that we usually use to access the fields and work on them. So can anyone tell me, how do you recognize the JSON data, by the way, and how do you differentiate it from the normal JavaScript object? Yes, key value pairs, Alex, that's excellent. But again, how do you recognize something is a key value pair which is representing a JavaScript? Let me tell you what I'm saying. Let me just open up a Visual Studio Code for the time being, and I'll just let you know what I'm talking about. So let's, whatever it is, I'll just use it over here. Now, if I say, for example, or maybe let's open up that our week folder, and that folder has the JSON data as well. And Seneca, summer 21, and lectures, and I think it was lecture 6 as well. We had that data over here. Yes, save them. Okay. Okay, so you see here, this is the JSON data that you remember that we have used. So what is different in this data format which is not there in a normal object of JavaScript, normal object of JavaScript? You know what I mean? Let me show you something. Sorry, I don't want to see the source. I want to inspect you. Console. I've come to the console. Let obj equal to name Seneca and semester, whatever, 2, and school, whatever, Toronto, whatever, right? So just want to make an object. So this is a JavaScript object. You all understand that? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. I just wanted to know that. So now if I just print this object, you see that this object comes in this way. And this is an object where I can just work on this one. I can say obj.name, I can find Seneca. If I say obj.semester, I will find, or school, I will find the second value. So obj.school. So if I find the school, I'll find that one. Okay, yes, you're right. Now when you talk about the JSON format of data, JSON format of data is basically a data which has these inverted commas around the keys as well, right? So the BSON data that we are talking about over here is more or less like the JSON format right? But we will usually see that it's more like that JSON format. Like there will be quotations surrounding the fields as well. So again, that means that we will be working to work on that. What we do, we usually convert that into our object notation. And what was that object notation that I was showing you? We want to convert our data always into this format. Is that right? Are you getting that? Let me just, if it accepts that one, obj2 equal to, if I just try to make a, JSON like format, does it accept? Because my Visual Studio Code just changed. Okay, let's see. Semester 2, usually inverted commas is not school, and Toronto. Oh, did I do something wrong maybe, or it is not accepting that? Oh, I've done something wrong. Here it has to be colon, right? I want this to be field. Yeah, thank you. Okay, now if you, okay, so you see here, so it, but if you see that it has accepted that, but you see, Alex, that it's showing me still in that object form. And this is one good reason. If I want to do that obj2 dot name, of course it is coming out of name, but why? Because this has by itself, technically it has settled it down. Right? So it's something that I want to say, that whenever you have this JSON data, you need to convert that, you need to change that data into what format? Into the object notation, and then you basically work on that. Anyhow, so this is basically the BSON data that we'll talk about. MongoDB is classified as a NoSQL database. Now, this NoSQL has come from not only SQL, right? It's a not only SQL database. NoSQL is quickly becoming a popular alternative to traditional relational database management. Now, you remember, you should know that, and you will be looking it in the market as well, that with a very fast speed, NoSQL databases are taking over the traditional relational databases management system because of the obvious reasons that the obvious benefits that they offer to people. So now they're gradually, slowly and gradually, they're just taking over the relational database management. The term NoSQL comes from not only SQL and is intended to mean that it is a type of database system that can store data in a non-traditional tabular and relational format. That is why MongoDB is considered as NoSQL database. It stores its data using object notations. Now, the traditional databases, the database definition that you first study, always says that data should be stored in a traditional tabular and relational format. There will be multiple tables. Table will have rows and columns, and those rows and columns will be having that data into it. But here what we are saying no, the MongoDB is a NoSQL database, and it says NoSQL means it's not only SQL, and that is typically mentioning that we have data in the object notation form. So data will be stored in the object notation form. Interesting. That is quite interesting. How does it relate to, no pun intended, to traditional SQL systems? Now, how does it relate to? When you think of how traditional relational database system works, you have tables and records, primary and foreign keys, and joins between tables when writing queries. MongoDB has similar functionality with a few major differences. There are a few major differences. Almost functionality is same, but now the lingo will be different. Now the conceptually things will be different. Why? Because we are talking about the MongoDB now. Let's look at a comparison table of features so we can become familiar with the terminology of the MongoDB world and NoSQL database. Now, this is very important. A table, what we call table in RDBMS, will be called a collection over here. And mind you, you need to keep this concept in mind. You need to keep these words in mind, these lingo in mind. What we used to call table in RDBMS, in our classical RDBMS, we call that collection. So there is no table in MongoDB, rather there is a collection for that. Record, a record represents one field, one complete record of a table, and here it says that record will be called as document, right? And the column, which was a column in the record, is basically field. It was typically called field as well over there, but anyhow, it's called a field over here. Joins embed data or link to another collection. Now, joins we used to use, and you would have done this joining so much: inner join, outer join, right outer join, right inner join, and etc., etc., etc. So there are lots of numbers of joins that you have. Now, those same joins are basically in MongoDB. They will be collection amongst the they will be the links between the collections. There will be no join explicitly mentioned. Rather, a collection will be defined or embedded inside another collection, and that will be showing the join part of that. Can I ask anyone other than Alex? Can you tell me about joins? What do you mean by join? Joining of table? Armin or Karthik? Anyone? When we say joins, what do we mean in databases? Yep. Yeah. So I'm just waiting for your answer. If I won't get an answer till 2 more seconds, IDK is the appropriate answer, as I always tell you. So if I don't get an answer within 2-3 seconds, I would understand that me and Alex are wasting our time over here because Alex already knows this concept, and I'm just throwing these concepts to Alex. Alex, 3 seconds have passed. 4, 5, 6, 7. Keep on. Okay, then thank you. Join combines columns from one more tables into a new table. I mean, can you just explain that a bit more for a novice person or a new person? You are right. Combines columns from one or more tables into a new table. What does that mean? Like, in a layman term. What does that specifically mean in a layman terminology? Or maybe Karthik, if you can just explain that. Okay, so I have not heard anything from anyone. Let's see, no problem. Combining two table columns and with some condition. Okay, so yes, that's so again here we will be doing what? Here we'll be just embedding one collection into the other collection to get it done as a join. So again, just to repeat that, table is something which will be called as collection over here. Record is something that will be called as a document over here, and column is something that will be called as a field over here, and up to so on. So we'll have all these things in front of us, right? So now let's talk about something else. So there is a page that compares MongoDB and explain why it makes no sense use one another over the both. So basically, this is just some explanation of comparing differences between these two, MongoDB versus MySQL, or MongoDB versus SQL, whatever. So it's giving a difference between that. So you can just always go and read about that. What typically is good about MongoDB, and what typically is not good about MongoDB, and things like that. So you can always have, if you are curious enough, you can always go and find out. Okay, so it says that you can set up a MongoDB Atlas account, and we'll talk about this Atlas account. But first, I want you people to do something interesting. I want all of you to install MongoDB. Yeah. So what I want from you people is that, yes, I want you to install this community server with you. So I want you to just install that one, and it's basically right now what I'm asking you people is that you have to just install this on premises, and this is the community server that you have. I want all of you to just download that if you don't have already. Do you have that, Alex, already? Okay, just see that and let me know that are you able to do that or not? Just hold on a minute. Yes, just run that. And okay, just install this one, the community server. I want you to install that one, everyone. So if you have installed that successfully, if you have set up your Mongo in the proper way, you will get this this screen. Okay, just go to command prompt or whatever terminal you have. You go and just you write Mongo, and you will get this shell, Mongo shell over here. I want to first work on Mongo server on my local machine, and then we'll talk about the other things. Okay. Yes. How many of you are ready? Because I will just now I will tell you some of the commands of MongoDB like in their original form, and then we'll talk about its the cloud-based solution or cloud-based Atlas or Atlas account. Then we'll talk about that. Okay. Yes, how many of you are ready with that? Just let me know. I'll pause the recording. Now, so once you're done with that, let's start with few of the basic commands. So first command is show DBS, show databases. And of course, when you will do that, you will see a shorter list of that because you have just freshly installed. I have certain databases that I have stored before. I've just made on my local machine. So how many databases do you see, Karthik or Armin? Around to me it's showing 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 databases. So how many it shows to you? Oh, 4. It shows 4. Yes, that's right. It would be admin config, and I think it should be local time log. And what's that? Like, can you just print that, copy and paste that admin over here? What do you see over there? Because I just wanted to know that what comes as the default when you just freshly install a server. Oh, admin config library and local. Excellent. That's excellent. Now let me tell you a very interesting thing. Use a command, use. Okay, you see I have first DB also. I have web 322 as well. Previous semester databases. I'm not deleting them. I'm creating a new one over here. So I am calling that maybe second DB, right? You should also do that. Use second DB. When you do that, if their second DB was not existing, it has created that for us, right? It has created that for us. Now we are inside this second DB, and if I run a command show collections, you remember what was the collection? Does anyone remember what was the collection all about? If I'm just making it a big tables. Yes, excellent. There were tables. So I have no table over here, right? I have no table over here. Now this second DB which is created, now this second DB can be referenced by this DB word. Now this DB is giving me this facility of accessing that. So for example, I want to create a table information. So I'll use DB. DB means second DB I'm talking about. Dot, maybe for example, I'm creating an information table, and there is a function insert one. If you want to insert one record in it, you do that, and just use here name Alan, comma age 20. curly braces, and this one. What I'm doing now in this one step, there are 3 things happening. There was no collection, there was no table in my database DB second. Now I'm creating that collection, and not only creating that collection, rather I am having that it's basically doing that for us. Like again, this will create that and insert one record into it. You enter and it says acknowledge is equal to true, insert object ID. So now this is something that we have not added, but this is something through which this MongoDB will recognize what is that record particularly. We don't need to remember, we don't need to we have not created that one. MongoDB itself has created that one for us, and now we have just inserted one record in it. Right? Now let's run this command once more and add a Bob's record. Bob, age 22. Right? Insert that. Another object being inserted. Getting the points? We have inserted 2 records. Now, if you want to see the records, these records, you will use another function. And what is that? db.information.find. Just find. And press enter. Oh, I have done a mistake. Information spelling is not correct, if you see, right? Information.find, right? Now it will just find something. Still wrong. db.information.find. Oh. Did I use a wrong spelling? Because it has insert. Oh. What is the mistake? Can anyone tell me? Thank you, Armin. Thank you. Yes, that is a mistake without I. So I can just do what I can just use that. Thank you very much, Armin. And this is right. So you see here that now I have this collection, and this collection has 2 records in it. First record has object ID. I'm not concerned, which was generated by the system. So I'm not concerned. Name Alan, age 20. And the second ID, Bob, age 22. Is that right? Now I want to insert multiple records, but what I will do, let's try to do that. So there is a function for that, and that is called insert many. So these are all the functions that you can use, the by default functions, and I will just explain you shortly that what these functions means. Now what I want to add here multiple records. The first record I want to add is name, and I say, for example, Christina, and age, and I say 22, right? And I close that one, right? And I want another record to enter. Curly braces, name, Doug, and age 23, square bracket close. Now error. Why error? Alex, can you let me know what is the error and what should be the solution? It's giving me an uncaught exception. It's an exception. You did provide. Excellent. I did not provide an array. While you are providing multiple objects, you have to provide it array-like syntax. Excellent. By the way, Alex, have you got your installation done of this server? So when you are just installing, when you have to insert many records, are you getting that, everyone? This will go as a record. When you restart my machine to make my variables work. I think environment variable should directly work. I don't know. You are saying that it has automatically set it up for you, or you have manually entered them. I don't know why, but it can't. It's MongoDB CLI command. So why don't you just quickly restart that? No problems. I'll just stay here and I'll ask people to just So see here, now the 2 records have been inserted. Acknowledge is equal to true. Now if I see all the records in my information table, information.find, you'll see I have 4 records now. Alan, Bob, Christina, Doug, like that. Yeah, no problem, Alex. I am here, and I'll just, because we are only 3 here, I'm just starting that. So Alex, you can just Oh, still not working. Alex, it means you have done something wrong, because I said to you, the restart is not required to set up environmental variables, by the way. I don't know, you have done something wrong with the installation. Oh, okay, you have Mongo Campus, and okay, it works well. Then why not your so did you check your environmental variables manually by going into environmental variables, and whether they are set or not? Is it set over the? It's not. Oh, yeah. So you just need to do that. You will just let me just open that for environmental variables, and let me show you. Of course, you would have done that, and you know how to do that. But it's for those people again who are not here in our class, but they will just later on they'll join us. So let me just show you. So if you see here, where do you find my Mongo setup? Oh, this is here. You see the third one? Yeah. So C program files, MongoDB server 4.4 bin. This path is making my life easier. Okay. So anyhow, I expect that you will be doing. So now you see here, now I have my 5 records in here, and now I can find a typical particular record out of it. How to find a typical particular record out of it? So db.information, not information, dot find, and now you do what? In a curly braces, you just mention the criteria. Age, for example, 23. You see, or if I give 22, I get 2 records. You know what I mean? If you pass just a single field to search something, it will come up with that record only. So if I say name, and I say, for example, a name that is not existing, Jennifer, and I say come up with something, of course it won't come up with something. Why? Because there is no Jennifer in our records. But if I say Bob, it should come up with a Bob's record. Like this is the Bob's record. Right? So far, so good. So not only this, we can have a switch also. Switch means there is something called a switch that I would ask you people to just go and study about this in your documentation of the MongoDB. You will find that over there. The switch means I can have something like this. I can say age, and after age, rather than passing 22, I can pass a switch over here, another curly braces, and I say $sign GT 22 or 20, right? 22 is good for us. And now I need to close 2 curly braces. Now both of the, sorry. So I want to say curly braces, $sign GT colon 22 and another curly braces closed. You see GT. Oh, that's excellent. That's excellent. So GT is what? Greater than 22. I need all the ages which are greater than 22. And ironically, because there is only 123, so it's coming up there. So now I'll do 21. So it should include 22 as well. So you see 22 and 23 ages are coming over. Does that make sense to everyone? Alice, I hope you will just catch it up, like, very quickly, because you understand the concept. So greater than, less than, these are all the switches that we use. These are the selection criteria that we use. If you see, this is the criteria that we are using. But remember the syntax of that within curly braces, you will be making another curly braces, and then you will be providing the condition to it, and that condition will be working for us. Right? So this is the switching. Now, how to update that? Again, I was giving you that we are just checking up few of the basic functions for that one, and then we'll work on that, the compass and compass environment and all those things. Now I want to update something. What I want to update? I want to update, for example, let's see, I want to update where name is Alan, right? Name is Alan, and I want to change its age. Like Alan's age, I want to change, and I say age 25. Right, age 25, and I close that one. right? Enter. And matched, right result, and asserted, like modified, one record has been modified. Now you run dot find everything. I don't want any typical one. Dot find anything. This something dramatic has happened to my first record. Alex, can you let me know what has happened and how to correct that? Because I hope you know that. Okay, so just don't worry about that. I'll just discuss with you. So what has happened? I changed. You see, I changed where name was Alan. Go and change the age to 25. The problem is that it has just taken the record of Alan and overridden that all records. So Alan's age and name both have, like, age, name is gone. It has just written down the age over there. Make sense? How to solve this problem? How to not allow it to do that? So for updating, I'll say Bob, for example, Bob's record, and I want to change the Bob's age to 25 or whatever, 30, for example. But I don't want to remove that Bob. You understand, Armin and Karthik, what we are talking about? So for that, what you need to do is that you will always need another statement, and that statement is called set, like another keyword that you need to use over here. Set, and age is equal to 35. Now, if you don't use this set word, like set switch with the field, it will just override all the records. So now you run that. Oh, missing colon after what? I am missing. Oh, after set, I had to use the colon. Sorry. After set, you have to use the colon, right? Set colon age 35, and then this one. You see, an asserted, like updated, one record modified. Now you do the find all. Do you see Bob's age is updated to 35 now? And Bob is there, right? Okay, so if I want to just, just for nothing, if I want to update that record, which I by mistake, written down, so I'll say age colon, what is the age? 25. And luckily we have only 125. So age colon 25, and not set, rather I am just, defining a new record for it, just for my own. So I say name should be set to Alan, and set age should be equal to 25. Again, I want to keep the same age, and I need to close this one, curly brace. Yes, should be fine. Oh, syntax error. What is missing? Rounded bracket is missing afterward. Okay, age 25, name Alan, age 25, this close, this close, this close. What is missing? Single quotation instead of double quotation. Oh, do you think that's a problem? Okay, let me change that. No, it's missing some parentheses. It's not a problem. Alan, looks like it's Alex. It looks like it. I am just misplacing a comma or something. Oh, double that one. Double that one. Oh yeah, you're right. You're right. Double is creating a problem. Yes, you're right. Yeah, it's modified. Now, if I find that one, you see our Alan is back. Alan is back on track. So Alan age 25, Bob age 35, and things like that. Right? So if I want to just delete this database, we have one. So what we'll do is just we'll write on drop database. We'll call that drop database function. Drop second DB is now no more with us. Rest in peace, right? So now if I show DBS, oh, I did not show it to you. There was first DB. So if I just create that, use second DB, right? Switch to second DB, and if I do show DBS, so you see that second DB is also existing over there. Now it's not existing or not showing right now. So okay, use second DB, right? Not showing that. And okay, so db dot insert. I'm just creating a table. Insert db dot info, creating a collection named info, and then inserting a record. Hello, colon, hello. All right, just a one record, and just wanted to check this functionality. Now it says that's done. So now if I do that GDBS, it should show my second DB as well. So this second DB is also coming over there. Why it was not coming there, I don't know. Anyhow, so now it's showing my second DB as well. And now if I do DB dot drop database, right? It's a function dropped. The second database has been dropped. Now you show DBS, you'll find only second DB is not there. Right, everyone. So this is how we interact locally with our MongoDB database. Now, interestingly, I had created a primer for that one. Let me just show you a primer for MongoDB. It's a very interesting one. I just tried to collect all those things which are there. So I'm just collecting. I'm just showing you that it's almost the same, but this primer is a very nice one, and I'll show you that why. So I've said that no query language, no SQL is not only SQL, no relations, few relations. Sometimes there are relations existing, but that relation are in different form. And then required no schema. There is no schema for the collection. That's very important. And documents and collections. So now, some NoSQL databases. There are certain NoSQL databases that we use in our daily life. One of them is MongoDB, Apache HBase, Cassandra, Redis, and Neo4j for the maps and all those things. There are certain MongoDB databases that we have. Now, open source non-relational DB using collections and documents. So it's a MongoDB, which is an open source non-relational NoSQL database using collections and documents. Horizontal scalability. What is scalability? Vertical and horizontal scalable. Do you know what is scalability of a database or of a software system or of a machine? Vertical scalability and horizontal scalability. What does this mention? Alex, can you just let us know what is the horizontal scalability and what is the vertical scalability, just for that matter? If I say that something is horizontally scalable, what does that mean? So here in this case, we are talking about the database. So what does scalability in terms of horizontal means? Horizontal scalability and vertical scalability. Now for that, I would like you people to replicate, allow more clients being served. Yes. And what about vertical scalability? You see, vertical and horizontal scaling. Let me show you. That's a very interesting one, and I always find this very interesting definition. Horizontal scaling means scaling by adding more machines to your pool and resources. No, not instances. And described as scaling out. This is called scaling out. Whereas vertical scaling refers to scaling more power. Yeah, like you keep on adding CPU, RAM, and so you are going vertical in that form, adding resources to the machine. But horizontally, you are adding more and more machines for the resources. Like, it's the other way around. So this is the diagrammatic representation. This was my machine, and I made it something like that. This is called vertical scaling. And this was my machine, and I added 3 more machines to it. It's called horizontal scaling. And so our MongoDB, it offers horizontal scalability. It just replicates resources, or it just adds on resources to give us this facility that we can just use them for our good. So uses BSON, very similar to JSON, stores everything together, relations if any. Collections are like tables, documents are like rows, each having a different schema. So every row, every document can have a different schema. What does that mean? It's for very interesting reasons. If I just run those for few commands, use second DB, and I want to insert one. Now if I do db dot info dot find, so you see here, this is one record that I have, hello and hello. Now if I want to insert another record, I can do something like this, comma, hi, right? I've added another record. Oh, no, it's not terminated, no problem. So it's now added. Now let's add one more record, and I can add one more thing to it. Bye. Right? So db.info.find. And if you see that now I have 3 records, 3 collections, and all three collections have different schemas. We should really appreciate that. So all three have different schemas together, and these different schema. So every collection can have a different schema. Every document can have a different schema. Collections are like tables, so every field, every record that you are storing, that might have some different format for it, different syntax for it. Right. So now come here, the MongoDB. So you have to you have done that, installed that MongoDB, and I've given you all this example of this one. We have just used all these examples. You can always use them. So MongoDB Compass, this is very interesting. And as Alex says that he already has, if you can install this MongoDB Compass in your system, Compass, can you install this software as well, everyone? This will be used in our